Welcome to Debt-Free Life. I'm your host, Stephen Malka, part of the team here at David Sklar Associates. I'm a personal finance enthusiast and someone who is passionate about helping people with financial problems get out of debt and stay out of debt. We will cover so much on this show, from budgeting and saving to debt reduction and more. Our goal on this podcast is to provide education and insight into the world of debt solutions and give you the tools to make the right decisions with your finances. So let's get started and talk a little bit about David Sklar Associates. I'm joined today by David Sklar himself. David is the owner and president of David Sklar Associates. He's also a chartered professional accountant, a member of CAIRP, and a licensed insolvency trustee. Hi, David. Maybe we can start off by sharing a little bit about the company and the services we provide.
David Sklar Associates provides a multitude of services, amongst them credit counseling, bankruptcy, consumer proposals, and any general education which will help people fully understand their financial predicament at the time.
I know for a lot of people, it's not completely clear what services we can help with. Can you provide a little more clarity on this topic?
Well, there may not be services that we can help people with, but we are in a position to summarize all available options that people have. The most common or prevalent ones are consumer proposals and bankruptcies, but we provide services like budgets, counseling, whereby with a little tweak here, a little tweak there, people are able to get back to the kind of budgeting that will ensure success. So there are other factors involved besides those which we are regulated in delivering through the Superintendent of Bankruptcy.
How important is it for people who are struggling financially to create a budget?
Budgeting is extremely important. It sets guidelines for the different classifications of expenses that one goes through in one's life. It gives one a sense of this is what I have, this is what I need, and consequently, it puts one in a position of making a rational, intelligent decision as to, do I need to pull in my belt, or am I okay? Am I in a position to save money, for example?
Why do you think so many people struggle with budgeting?
Budgeting isn't taught. Budgeting, encountering financial problems is not taught in school. So even when a person becomes an adult, they find themselves in a situation where they don't have any guidance, any track that they can use to find out where the issues are and to rectify them. It's as if one of the most important facets of life is just disregarded completely at school and at college. It's amazing, actually. It's a worldwide phenomenon. And I have no answer why educators have not been in a position to at least offer these kinds of courses to students at whatever level, and at least give them some form of preparation for the real world to come.
What do you think the result is of this lack of education?
The lack of education in society of financial budgeting has led to various states of panic, overwhelmment, fear of the unknown. And when you put all of these factors together, it detracts immensely from the self-confidence of young people, where they feel like they're rudderless. They don't have a plan from which to move forward.
So how does the team at David Sklar Associates help people struggling financially?
The staff that we have working at David Sklar Associates are people who have been experienced in all these fields that we've discussed, who some of them have even gone through really bad situations, and consequently are in a position to make recommendations to others in a very, very calm, quiet manner without forcing any issues, so that people, once they've been to visit our offices, are in a position that they can make a rational, intelligent decision as to how to move forward.
What sets us apart from other licensed insolvency trustees? Why should people reach out to us?
I think it's the level of customer care. We are there to help people get through what we consider to be one of the most traumatic periods in their lives. And without paying any lip service, we really mean it. We're empathetic. We've been there. We understand what people are going through. We never judge people, which a lot of firms in our positions unfortunately do. And the entire process is about building a trust between the prospective client and David Sklar Associates in such a way that they would feel comfortable with us going from the beginning of the process right through to the end and be happy with the advice that they're getting.
How rewarding is it to see the impact you're making in people's lives?
Well, from myself personally, it's extremely rewarding to see somebody who walks through our doors completely spent, overwhelmed, dysfunctional, and has been given the tools to get out of his situation and to move on and to take control of his or her life. And I've seen it often. The most common comment I get is, why didn't I do this months ago, years ago? And we help provide the various tools that will answer not only their existing problems and questions, but anything that they may encounter in the future. It's a very simple process. You ask the questions who, what, how, where, and why. And if you start doing this just on a regular daily basis, you'll find that there's no problem that's insurmountable. For every problem, there's a solution. So we help give the prospective client these tools so that they're able to handle themselves in the real world in future days ahead.
Obviously, no one plans on being in debt. What are the most common reasons people find themselves financially struggling?
Sometimes it's through force of circumstance. There's been a death in the family, there's been a divorce in the family, somebody has been laid off, or somebody has lost a job. In other words, there's the debt management issues that are identified, as well as issues that one cannot control in life itself. And for the latter one, where you cannot control, I always recommend to people to have at least 3 to 4 months emergency cash on hand, so as to preclude yourself from getting into a situation where you're scrambling to get cash, to bridge finance from one bad situation to another, going to these companies that loan money at usurious rates, et cetera, et cetera. So a little bit of foresight, a little bit of planning will help alleviate this drastic need for cash through force of circumstance. When it comes to credit card debt, what we try and instill is you have to determine what is a need and what is a want. I want to drive a Lamborghini. I want to drive a Rolls Royce. The fact of the matter is I'm not in a position to do so. So I drive a car which is a hell of a lot less expensive, easy to maintain, etc., etc. So get out of the herd mentality. Don't try to live up to the Jameses. Just do what you need to do to get by. And once you're in a position that things are working for you, you can start concentrating on building wealth over the years.
Let's talk a little bit about building wealth. How can someone who is financially struggling even consider building wealth?
Well, people don't understand or don't realize that once you've gone through using one of our services, whether it's a proposal, whether it's a bankruptcy, you're in a far better position once you filed than you were before you came into office. Your debt is being repaid at reasonable amounts per month, or consequently, a bankruptcy has taken care of all your debts. Now you're in a situation where you can start budgeting properly, you can start accumulating funds. I always tell my clients that just stick 10%, put it through as a pre-authorized debit, 10% of your pay, let it go into a savings account or to a mutual funds account, and just keep on doing it. You don't even get to see it, and this amount is just building up month after month, compounding with interest. And after a few years, you say, "Hey, I'm not doing so badly," and it instills a little bit of confidence in you. It gives you you get eager to move on and to do even better. You start researching things. So that's a process whereby you can really start accumulating wealth and laying the ground rules for obtaining wealth down the line.
How has the insolvency industry changed over the past several years?
Well, when I first got into the business in 1997, like any business, a new business guy who was starting, I went around making damn sure with my ears pinned back that I was going to be successful. And I worked extremely hard, offered a great service, which we still continue to do. And over the years, we became known as one of the top filers in the GTA. We don't have a lot of offices throughout the GTA, but we have a great business model. And it allows us to be as effective as we possibly can handling the number of clients that we do. I've noticed in the last 5 years that there's a lot more new people that have come into the business, so it's become more competitive. And just when something like that happens, you don't get the same slice of the pie, so to speak. And that has been disappearing slightly over the last few years. And a lot of people have tried quite simply to copy us. We're known to be one of the leaders in the field. We have a different approach than most trustees out there. And a lot of people have tried to copy us, but we're back on the upswing, shall we say, and looking forward to many good, productive years ahead.
What do you want to tell people about other debt solution providers? What should people be aware of before making the decision to work with a specific company?
It's like when you go to a doctor. You want to know that you can trust this doctor. He's looking after your health. And a licensed insolvency trustee is looking after your financial health. And the same thing applies. You need to build or develop a relationship with the person that you're dealing with. If it's not there, don't deal with that person. But if you find that you can relate to what the licensed, or LIT as we call them, is saying, it makes sense to you, you feel good about what he says, and this could be the start of a good relationship. Remember, it doesn't just end when your proposal or your bankruptcy is over, that you can call up the guy and say, "Listen, I'm doing this, I'm taking risks. How does this sound to you? Because the door's always open in our company. Once you build up a decent, trusting relations, like anything else in business, those are the people that you want to go with. You don't want to go to somebody who's going to admonish you for making mistakes in the past. How could you do this? What were you thinking? You want somebody who's going to say, we all make mistakes, all right? Let's get it behind us. Let's put it behind us, and let's move on. What do we need to do now to ensure that you're going to be successful in the future?
What would you say to people who are nervous or worried about reaching out and being judged?
The first thing that we do is we explain to them that every single problem is solvable. So whilst you may think that you've reached the end of the line, you just don't see how you're going to get out of this mess, you're overwhelmed, you're distraught, you're full of fear and anxiety, let me assure you, all right? Once we sit down with you and say to you, for every problem, there's a solution. Let me take you through a multitude of scenarios so that you understand there are lots and lots of options available to you. And it's up to you which one you choose. We may show you and recommend from our perspective, which may be best for you, but always remember it's your decision in the end. It's your decision to make. We'll just lay out the lines, the pros and cons of each option, so that it will give you a much better grounding as to make an informed decision and move on from there. And you will leave that office saying, man, I didn't realize it would be so easy.
Thank you, Dave, for your time today. I think we covered some very important topics. I'm looking forward to taking a deeper dive into the different types of debt solutions we provide and really starting this journey of financial literacy with our audience. I think we can all benefit from this knowledge. Thank you all for listening. For more information on debt solutions, please visit us at davidsklar.com, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and check out our YouTube channel for helpful videos and tips on budgeting and debt solutions. Please remember to subscribe to this podcast and let us know if there are any topics you'd like us to cover. This is the Debt Free Life Podcast. Thank you for listening.